Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Call halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors, of course, go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who continue through the Holy Spirit. Push this truth. This is Nama of the DC camp, and as you can see, now I've been following this, and I'm sure a lot of you have too. The Tulsa race massacre that happened in 1921. So it's been 101 years now. And you have some of these people who are survivors that were hoping to get some kind of, and I'm not just, you expect, Jake, some of our people just, you don't get how much this so-called white man hates us. All right. You will never, ever get any kind of justice from him. All right. Anyway, so the ruling now stands. It says they can't sue for reparations. We that are in this truth understand what true reparations are, and it's not what this so-called white man, this Edomite, can give you. I can assure you of that. Damn. Judge Caroline Wall dismissed 6 descendants and multiple organizations from a lawsuit while the 3 last known survivors of the 1921 massacre can continue seeking reparations. All right. So what happened here is you had some entities that had made a claim, but they didn't exist back then. So you can expect that. Okay, you weren't around, so what do you know? So they dismissed those. So let's continue. 6 descendants of victims of the 1921 Tulsa race massacre cannot sue for reparations. An Oklahoma judge said, while 3 known survivors of the attack can move forward with the lawsuit. Tulsa County District Judge Caroline Wall signed the order on Tuesday, allowing Leslie Benningfield, mother Randall, 106 years old, Viola, mother Fletcher, 107, and Hughes Van Ellis Sr., 101, to continue seeking reparations. So he was just a baby when this happened. To continue seeking reparations under state nuisance laws. Okay, I mean baby, because this happened the end of May, I believe, 1921, and it's August now. So yeah, he was like a couple of months old. All right, or 3 months, whatever. All right, so they can continue to seek. Now, how long they're going to live, and this is my guess, is what they've been waiting on all along for these people to just pass away. This is what I mean, see. Man. Continuing on, it says, in addition to the 6 descendants, Wall dismissed the historic Vernon AME Church Incorporated and the Tulsa African Ancestral Society as plaintiffs in the case, as well as the Tulsa Development Authority and the Tulsa Metropolitan Planning Commission as defendants because they didn't exist, like I was telling, in 1921. The City of Tulsa, Tulsa County Commissioners, Tulsa Regional Chamber, the Tulsa County Sheriff, and the Oklahoma Military Department will remain as defendants in the lawsuit. Bottom line is that survivors are in. We have the opportunity to prove the massacre itself constitutes a nuisance, all right. Demario Solomon Simmons, a lawyer for the survivors, told AP News, we look forward to proving our case around the massacre's ongoing catastrophic effects and demonstrating the actions that defendants must take to repair and rebuild the Greenwood community during our clients' lifetimes. See, that was the point. They didn't want you to prosper. They didn't want you to be able to generate wealth, all right, and pass it down. This is just one of many instances where this happened. This is perhaps the most famous case, but there are plenty of instances. What's the comedian? She covered this in these, oh man, what is her name? About the towns, so-called black towns that were destroyed and now they're at the bottom of lakes. where these Edomites just go and, tubing and have their little fun, and all the time it's, you know, our ancestors that are at the bottom of those lakes, literally on their graves. Yeah, this devil has a lot to pay for. Don't worry, he's gonna get it. Solomon Simmons said during a news conference that he had spoken with the individuals who were dismissed from the case, adding that they were saddened by the dismissal, but still very excited that the survivors are moving forward with the lawsuit and can represent the entire community of Greenwood. See, I mean, a lot of our people going, oh, this is all good, but the damage is done. It's been 101 years. All right, the damage is long since been done. You're not going to get, these people are like barely holding on, 107, 106, and 101 respectively. Come on now. All right. But we'll see. This might take another year or two. These people be, Continuing on, says Wall's order requires lawyers from both sides to amend the claim for reparations with sought unspecified punitive damages and call for the creation of a hospital in North Tulsa, a Tulsa Massacre Victims Compensation Fund, and mental health and educational programs. You see, and this is what Esau would do. He'll say, well, we'll start an educational program and, all this other shit. And no, you're supposed to restore what was taken. You better believe when these Edomites take you to court and when the roles are reversed, they're going to get theirs. They make sure of that. All right, this is why you can't expect any kind of justice from this devil. You're not going to get it. So why put yourself through that? We in this truth understand what true reparations are, and I'm going to read it to you. All right. It says the Tulsa Race Massacre occurred in 1921 when a mob of white people attacked black residents and destroyed businesses and homes in the then prosperous Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma, also known as Black Wall Street. An estimated 300 people were killed, most of whom were black, and about 10,000 black people were left unhoused and forced to live in an internment camp. Some of them ran out of their houses butt-ass naked. I mean, they didn't even have the clothes on their back. All right. It says, according to the Associated Press, insurance companies in the city of Tulsa never compensated victims and survivors for their losses, and don't want to this day. All right. Because what did that ruling in the Dred Scott decision say by Justice Taney? It says the black man has no rights by which a white man should respect. The massacre, which is considered one of the worst incidents of racial violence in American history, resulted in racial and economic disparities that still exist today. Of course, this was the intent. That's why I made the comment earlier. Amber, what is her name? I almost said it. The comedian. Shit. She did a segment on this, and that was exactly the same point. Now, in case you haven't heard, out in California, what's the beach that they stole? In fact, I think it was the same year as this, where a black family owned a, because, beaches and things are segregated, and to some degree still are, despite so-called laws. But they had owned property on the beach. Which beach was it? Oh, shit. Out in California. Los Angeles area there. Shit. But anyway, so the city just gave them back that. All right. Because they stole it. Gave it to, I don't know, some Edomites. And they just gave it back to them 100 years later. And in that write-up, it made the point that it kept that family from what? passing down their wealth to the, in their family. But this was the point. All right, these foreigners come over here and say, well, we work hard. No, you don't. You are set up. All right. They can't or don't want to or both see what's the game that's being played here. All right. So they got an answer too. Yeah, these motherfuckers come over here with the attitude, you lazy niggers. And that's not the case in most instances. You gotta understand what we've gone through. People are fucking tired. They're emotionally drained. All right, this is something called, well, it's spiritual, first of all, and that's why a lot of people can't understand that, but you have things that are passed down generational that affect each generation. All right, even though it didn't directly happen to them. All right, you gotta understand you're dealing with the same people that are oppressed. This is generation after generation after generation after generation. So it's not like you can get over it, because we as a people were never allowed to heal. They know these things. There's no accident these things happen. You gotta understand, we as a people are under curses. We are the Israelites. These curses stick to us as a sign, as the scriptures say in Deuteronomy 28. Verses 45 through 47. All right. That's the intent. It says, according to the Associated Press, insurance companies in the city of Tulsa never compensated victims and survivors for their losses. Of course not. The massacre, which is considered, okay, I already read that. The lawsuit also claims in the years following the massacre, city and county officials allegedly actively thwarted the community's effort to rebuild because they were too prosperous. You gotta understand. In 1921, this is what? 2 generations removed from hardcore slavery, and they're living better than us? Come on now. Because some Edomite / white girl was assaulted? No, because she let them know right then on the spot, this guy didn't do anything to me. Yes, she did. That's in the report, but they used that as an opportunity because they were so jealous and envious. Look, these uppity niggers. That's always their excuse. So they use that as an opportunity to get us up out of there. Even drop bombs from planes. The lawsuit, okay, let's see. It says they thwarted the community's efforts to rebuild and neglected the Greenwood and predominantly black North Tulsa community in favor of overwhelmingly white parts of Tulsa. The fuck? But see, why would you expect anything else from someone that hates you? This is Psalms 43:1. Judge me, O Most High, Yahweh, and plead my cause against an ungodly nation, which is the nation of Edom, who are known as white people today. That's something a distinction they gave to themselves in the 1680s. All right. Yeah. Oh, deliver me from the deceitful and unjust man. And here is our people marching up and down the street, looking like idiots, asking for justice from someone that is completely unrighteous because he was made to be that way. Verse 2, for thou art the God of my strength. Why dost thou cast me off? And that's what we've often, all of us at some point, have like said this to ourselves. Why, why is this happening? But you got to understand, we're under curse, and that identifies us because we're being chastised. All right? These things, Hebrews 12 and 6 through 9. All right? But this is a good thing. Unlike our mortal enemy, the Edomites, the so-called white people, where they're just left to be because the Most High does not care about them. But they think foolishly that because nothing has happened, Ecclesiastes 8 and 11, Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, chapters 5 start at 4 and go on down. They think that because the Most High has not exacted punishment, the proper punishment to them, that he must be in league with them. Let's get some scriptures that prove that. Let me finish this off. It says, for thou art, verse 2, for thou art the God of my strength. Why dost thou cast me off? Why go I mourning? Because of the oppression of the enemy. All right, so as I alluded to, let's go to Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. It says, for because sentence against an evil work which they've continually done against us is not executed speedily, nothing's happened to us. We can do what we want, these niggers. Therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. 12. Though a sinner do evil 100 times and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear the Most High, which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before the Most High. No, his God is his science. All right, let's go to the Apocrypha. Let's go to Sirach 5, like I said, and 4. It says, say not I have sinned, and what harm hath happened unto me, for the Most High is long suffering. He will in no wise let thee go. Concerning propitiation, he be not without fear to add sin to sin. And Esau certainly does. Now they're expanding upon their alphabet people. They're trying to add the P, as in pedophile, to that LGBTQ, whatever else. All right. And they're showing you, and a lot of our people are with it because they're wicked too. 6, and say not his mercy is great, he will be pacified for the multitude of my sins. For mercy and wrath come from him, and his indignation resteth upon sinners. 7, make no tarrying to turn to the Most High, and put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. That's going to happen to him regardless, because all right, like I said, the Most High is not in these Edomite thoughts. He's contrary. Wisdom of Solomon, 2nd chapter. He's completely contrary to anything righteous. It tells you that. His thing is, I got the best and most weapons, therefore I'm right. Wow. Just what else can you say? Wow. So you're not going to get anything on this side that, see, true justice, I just remembered that's what I had said. Let's go to Obadiah. This is going to be, because this is all about these devils right here, about their pride, the thievery, and how his pride is going to do him in at the end. All right. Oh, let's see. Verse 8, it says, I started 7 because his pride, see, he doesn't see all these things that are going to bite him in the ass. It always happens. It says, all the men of thy confederacy, verse 7, have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee, that they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, saith the Most High Yahweh, even destroy the wise man out of Eden? Because at some point, his so-called allies are going to turn. That's Revelation 17 chapter. They shall hate the whore and burn her with fire. It says, an understanding out of the mount of Esau. All these slick, well-laid plans of his that it used to be that way back in the day. He didn't know the devilment that he was doing. Well, he's being exposed now. All right. So he's not as smooth as he used to be. All right. It says 9, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. And here's the reason why. 10, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, which is us, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. 11, in the day that thou stoodest on the other side, and the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou wast one of them. So here it is, our brother, who literally shared the womb with us, was always against us, and he even helped the enemy against us. All right. 12, but thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, and the day that he became a stranger, when we went off. All right, we were taken into captivity, and we started following the customs of our enemies. It says, in this day when we became a stranger, he should not have looked on us. All right. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. What did they say in Psalms 137? King David, what did they say? Race it, meaning destroy it, tear it all down. This is what our so-called brother did. This is what he said. All right. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. What I just revealed to you. 13, thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of the calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of the calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. He didn't help us, he helped the enemy. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. And another thing, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but if you remember the shows like Cops, where Jake was, on the run, and all of a sudden you see an Edomite, you might see him come out the frame, into the frame, and help the police tackle Jake or whatever have you. Yeah, it's the same, it's always been that way. All right, this is what this is talking about here. It says, neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape, neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. And this is what they fear. And rightfully so, because it's going to happen. All right. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. 16, for as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they have not been. 17, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. All right, let's go real quick, and I'll come back and finish verse 18. Let's go to Isaiah 14. I'm going to start at 2. It says, and the people shall, I start at 1. It says, for the Lord, Most High Yahweh, will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Israelite foreigners. They are Israelites. They're not just the other nations, heathens. 2, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Most High Yahweh for servants and handmaids, as slavery. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. All right, just to clear that up. All right, Obadiah. Now let's go to 18, finish it up. It says, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau. So they, at the end of that 1,000 years of hardcore slavery, there's not going to be any need for so-called white people. This is what this is saying. They're going to be gathered up. And it's the irony of this is, here it is, they pretended a Holocaust. And, you know, the Most High has a unique sense of humor. All right. And this is exactly the way you're going to go out. You garnered the world's sympathy on this lie. All right. And, hey, it was very lucrative for you. You got everybody to feel sorry for you, thinking that you were us. And you get all this money yearly from nations. Well, it's been a con all along. So you got to pay for that. So guess what? This is how you as a people are going to be exterminated from the face of the earth. Wow. Now that's justice. Hey, so with that, hey, Shalom.